Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Tackling Basketball Podcast. My name is Evan.
I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Micah.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We have a fun agenda today. WNBA is kicking off as we speak. Super excited for that. Let's go. Sabrina and Ionesco for the win. But we will start things off with some toast and roast. And you know what? Screw you guys. I'm going first today. I'm going to toast Jared Goff. The obvious thing. The dude got an absolute bag. Way to go, buddy. Get paid. But the bigger thing here is that 3 years ago, Jared Goff was considered a draft bust. And when he got traded to the Lions, everybody thought he'd be there for a year or two and then get released. This dude has completely turned his career around. He has resurrected the Lions as a franchise, going from being a 1-win or 2-win team to barely losing in the NFC Championship game to the 49ers. There's an argument to be made that they should have won that game if Dan Campbell just coached a little bit better. And so props to Jared Goff. Heck of a career turnaround. It's even though they're a division rival, seeing the Lions be good is a lot of fun. Jared just seems like a great guy. He also looks like Ryan Gosling. So he's got a lot of good things going for him. So props to him.
Yeah. One really good season last year. I think I'm a little surprised by the contract he received, mostly because it hasn't been like consistent play at this level. So, potentially props, potentially not to the Lions for taking this shot on him, because it's not out of the question that he'll regress a little bit to his career average. But if he doesn't regress, then this is a huge win-win deal for a franchise that has been like struggling with mediocrity for their entire existence. Good on Goff for like leading them so deep last year and getting rewarded for it.
Yeah, it's cool to see. Get the bag.
All right, Micah, over to you for your toast.
I'm toasting the Villanova Knicks, which is Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Dante DiVincenzo, who all played together at Villanova. And these guys have been incredible throughout the entire playoffs, especially with DiVincenzo and Hart both coming off the bench throughout like the regular season. And then because a slew of injuries, just stepping up. Jalen Brunson's averaging 33 points per game. Josh Hart is averaging over 12 rebounds a game as a guard. Dante's just solid 17 points, 4 rebounds, couple assists. But all of them are playing together and playing fun, and they're just tons of fun to watch. And it's also fun to see them because they have a podcast together, and they're just friends. They were buddies in college. And a special shout out to Josh Hart, who just got sponsored by Mike and Ike's. Big time.
Huge deal.
But in one of the press conferences, they were asking Josh Hart, who has been playing pretty much 48 minutes a game in the playoffs, asking him about how he has all the energy like to do that. And he just pulled out a box of Mike and Ike's. I was like, Mike and Ike's, baby. And Jalen Brunson was like, it's real. Even in college, he ate so much crap and so much junk food. And while him and DiVincenzo are like almost complaining about this, Josh Hart's just throwing Mike and Ike's at reporters like, you got to try this. It'll change your life.
Oh my gosh.
I love Josh Hart so goddamn much. I feel like besides Boban, he might be the most likable person in the league. Like, he is so much fun. But yeah, these guys are playing incredible, carrying the Knicks right now. It's fun to see.
Yeah, absolutely carrying them. We're recording this right now with the series tied 2-2, partway through the first quarter of Game 5. And, these last couple of games have been a little bit of a slip, but you're on the road against a tough opponent. So
losing OG Anunoby too has hurt a ton.
No fault to you there, but Jalen Brunson has been like one of the single best players in the postseason so far. Argument for the best player in the postseason.
I would say best.
And just like super consistent, like shot maker, playmaker, and all three of these guys are really like the reason why the Knicks stand any chance at going further. So, yes.
Props to Josh, too. I almost put him as my toast just because of his quote of people asking him if he was tired from playing so often. And he just said, I'm not tired. The people who work, 12-hour shifts and do that, those people are tired. We're out here playing a game. And that's just such an awesome quote of just someone actually understanding, like, I am blessed to be able to play this game, play a literal game for a living and make millions of dollars. And just saying, like, my tiredness doesn't compare to what other people are going through. So that's just an awesome way to look at it, too, as an NBA player from Josh.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Jonathan, take it away.
All right. I'm not doing a full toast right now. I'm doing a soast, which is halfway between a roast and a toast.
What is the S? Oh, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, RST. yeah. And that is about Michael Malone, head coach of the Denver Nuggets. He has been a huge reason for the development of this team, for their entire success through to this point, their hunger, their never say die attitude, and their championship run last season. And I think in large part for his own fault, he was very nearly the reason that the Nuggets wouldn't have made it to the conference finals. You look at the attitude that the Nuggets approached their first series with, of we are the Lakers' daddy, we own them, we are the better team, we know that, and just sort of coming out super lackadaisical. They lost 75% of minutes in that series. Those are numbers that you would expect the Lakers to have swept the Nuggets, but they woke up just in a nick of time in fourth quarters and pulled out a gentleman's sweep in the series instead, largely because they are a very talented team. And when they show heart, when they feel that need, they show up. But they never started with that heart, and that continued to the second round series against a team in Minnesota who you cannot play lackadaisically against. You cannot show up thinking that you are the better team, things will come freely to you. And the first game was a really tough home loss, and the Nuggets walked away. Our coach walked away thinking that it was a fluke win. It was nothing to be afraid of. We're the better team. We got this. Game two, again, come out lackadaisical. And this time, things start to get frustrating. We didn't make the right adjustments. They were hounding Jamal Murray, playing full court press, just playing a very physical game, rising to the level that the refs were currently calling it at. It was an evenly called game, but it was a physical game, which definitely favors a team who prefers to play physically. The Timberwolves saw this and adapted, played physically. The Nuggets saw this, Michael Malone saw this, and he stormed the court, got face-to-face with a ref, screaming his head off. Lucky he wasn't ejected, and he wasn't even called a technical against somehow.
Remember that time Anthony Edwards got a technical for staring at someone after dunking a game before that?
Yeah. So, you would think the refs did Michael Malone a favor there, but really what Michael Malone did in that game was set a precedent for the rest of the team. It's not our fault. It is the ref's fault. Blame everything else. Get upset. Get out of your element. Thank God for the 3-day break between games 2 and 3, because it gave them so much opportunity to actually sit back, evaluate, and say, it's not on the refs. It's not just bad luck. We are not playing like ourselves. We don't have the hunger that we had last year. And my God, did they adjust. Michael Malone, one of the first people to recognize his own faults, turned it around, showed video to his team of all of the analysts, all of the media counting them out, and very clearly said to them, this is not about me saying the media is wrong, the media is stupid. They're fucking right. We are not in this game. We are not ourselves. And we should be absolutely embarrassed, show some pride. And they come out in game 3, make a lot of really good adjustments, have people help Murray up the court, rise to the level of physicality that's being required of them, work more in the flow of the offense. And they come back home now for a game 5 tonight after tying the series. Going into Minnesota, they were down an 0-2 hole. 5 teams in the history of the NBA have ever come back from an 0-2 home hole to start a series. Every single team, there have been 6 times in league history where after starting in an 0-2 home hole, you come back 2-2. Of those 6 times that it happened, 5 of them resulted in that team winning the series, and 2 of them resulted in championships. So the Nuggets woke up at the right time. They showed their pride, and I'm hoping at least that it carries forward. And
yeah, I mean, I said in the last episode when we were previewing the series, I said if Denver plays like they played against the Lakers, they lose this series. And the first 2 games, they were playing like that. Very lackadaisical, very non-focused. The second game definitely got away from them. And then, like you said, they made that adjustment. They're playing like the team that played last year, where they just flew through the entire playoffs. And they're showing why they are the best team in the league. And as long as they keep this up, which I don't see any reason why they wouldn't, they should easily win this series.
yeah,
Because, unless Minnesota can do an incredible adjustment, which I don't really see them doing because I think they're already playing the best they can play, which is really damn good.
it's very good.
But
Especially Ant.
yeah, oh my God.
Fun fact about game 4, by the way, with Anthony Edwards' minutes. He played all but 2.5 minutes. The Minnesota Timberwolves were a +5 with him on the court. And in the 2.5 minutes that he was off of the court, they were a -13.
Wow.
So, he is doing everything that he can. And
he's not important at all. Everyone will be totally fine without him.
he is their team. I mean, especially against this Nuggets team where like a lot of your other strengths lie in some mismatches from size. You can't really mismatch size against the Nuggets. A lot of their strengths lie in their like defense, especially their paint defense. It takes 2 games and Jokic will figure out any defense. So in this series, Anthony Edwards is everything for them, and he is doing everything for them. So that is the reason that the next 3 games is a series is going to be tough and interesting.
Man, that Soast was so good, we're not even going to have anything to talk about when we get to the actual series.
You pretty much covered everything, jackass. All right, for my toast, I'm going with the NBA lottery system. It's
Why are you toasting the lottery?
or roast.
Yeah, after how many teams
I'm being nice this week. No, for my
Bold
roast,
take.
I'm going with the NBA lottery system.
Man, I'm so glad that Atlanta got the 101. I bet they take a quarterback.
That would be great. Roasting the NBA lottery system for pretty obvious reasons. First one is obviously the poor Detroit Pistons. Mother of God. The fact that going into last year, there had never been a team in NBA lottery history to have the worst record and end up with the 5th pick. And now it's happened to them 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
That is crazy and sad. And it's not as big of a deal in this draft because it's not as top heavy and there's no singular superstar, but it still hurts. Like you don't have the chance to hold your future in your hands. You're essentially basing your entire draft on who's left at 5, which just sucks. And then second, the fact that the Hawks got the number 1 overall pick is fucking bananas. It makes no sense. And like I said before we started the pod, this would be the equivalent of the Dallas Mavericks getting the number 1 overall pick last year. And that would be insane. So it's crazy. I mean, the Hawks don't deserve this pick at all. I don't think there's anyone that's going to try and argue it. And then it's also just a little suspicious that the Spurs moved up in the draft so high 2 years in a row. I don't know. It just looks a little weird. But I think the NBA needs to install something similar to what the NHL has, where it's, if you have the worst record in the league, you can't fall further than like 3 or 4. Because having the worst record and moving to 5 is just brutal. And then there's part of me that think they should almost do some sort of fantasy football or basketball rules where it's, if you have the worst record in the league 2 or 3 years in a row, like you can't fall out of the top 3 or something like that, where it's just the league going, we take pity on you.
Yeah.
Like you're guaranteed a reasonable pick, because this is just sad. And I think the worst thing for the Pistons situation is that, again, I fully believe the Pistons GM should be fired. But at the same time, the Pistons GM can use this as like a kind of a scapegoat of saying, what am I supposed to do? We keep getting screwed. And so I think it hurts the Pistons even beyond just the fact that they have the 5th pick now. So I think Adam Silver needs to do something. I know we're trying to prevent tanking, but the Pistons are so clearly not tanking. They're just that bad, and they need help.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's kind of funny. So like, we should just keep the lottery. Don't change it.
It's kind of funny
that they keep getting screwed.
It's kind of funny, but you know dang well that if this were happening to the Blazers, we would both be absolutely.
I'd be lighting stuff on fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not.
I mean, it's insane because like 2017, I believe it was, the league voted to flatten the lottery odds from what they were before. So where previously the like worst team overall had roughly a 25-ish% chance of the first overall pick, the rules went into effect in 2019, where now they only have a 14% chance, and they have a 45% chance of getting the 5th overall pick, which is just way too massive. I'm not surprised that it was voted on because, I mean, 25 teams in the league prefer flatter odds. And then 5 teams in the league prefer there not to be a lottery.
Yeah.
But I think that the system's gone a little bit too far. I'm sort of looking at one of my fantasy leagues instituted a lottery recently, and I'm looking into like a dynamic system for our lottery, where based on how bad your team actually was, you get more entries. And maybe the NBA could go in something like that direction. If they don't want to get like that fancy with it, then just bring the odds back to what they were before 2019, because it is absolutely painful to be that bad of a franchise with not a lot of assets to trade for more picks, not a lot of like leeway in free agency, and a single star who, unless you can find some way to get him help, will rot on your roster until he's able to leave.
Yeah.
And like the lottery was invented for a very good purpose of let's try to like limit the amount of tanking that occurs, but there is collateral damage that occurs, and the Pistons are a great example of that.
Mm. Roasted.
Come on, Adam, do something about it. All right, Micah, your turn to take it to somebody.
Yeah, I'm roasting Jamal Murray, who, as we sort of referenced in the Game 2 game where the Nuggets just melted and blamed everything on the refs, Jamal Murray both made the money signs to the refs that Rudy Gobert did that fined him $100,000. Keep that number in mind. And then threw a towel at a ref, and then threw a heat pack at the ref, which landed on the floor, which I think KCP kicked
Yeah.
And then Karl Anthony Towns stepped on. Incredibly lucky Cat didn't get seriously hurt, and then refused to talk to media, and then got a $100,000 fine. I'm glad he was not suspended. Like, it would have probably just ruined the entire series. Minnesota probably would have swept if they didn't have Jamal Murray for Game 3. I think he should have been suspended. Like, if David Stern was still the commissioner, there's not a question. Like, David Stern in the playoffs suspended half of the Knicks in the 90s for simply getting off the bench at a fight.
Yeah.
They didn't even like contribute to the fight, or at least most of them didn't. And David Stern was like, nope, not allowed. I'm amazed Murray didn't get suspended. But like they said, first offense, I get it. Jamal Murray's been nothing but a great basketball player and personality. Like, he's been fantastic. Can't give him any shit on him at all for the past, at all. But then, like 2 days after the situation, he got asked by reporters and like didn't apologize or own up to it, and then got mad at reporters for asking him about it. And you just did like a boneheaded, bitchy, dangerous thing that could have significantly hurt someone. And if Cat did get hurt, then he would have been suspended, which is another thing that I don't get why he wasn't suspended, like by the outcome. Like, someone could have gotten hurt, and if they did get hurt, he would have been suspended.
For sure.
I was like, well, he still did it. We shouldn't be judging based on results. And I don't know. Regardless.
It's how the NHL does it. This is not the NHL, but
Yeah, not the But like I said, like I haven't seen this. You said he has owned up to it.
yeah, so I think he was just not in the right headspace for a lot of those interviews, and a lot of that's reasonable. His body wasn't allowing him to do what his mind knew that he was capable of. He was frustrated with their failure, his own failure, but that's not an excuse for what he did. And after Game 3, the Minnesota Timberwolves fans were booing him the entire game every time he had the ball.
Reasonably.
And he was asked about the booing after that game, and he said, yeah, I totally deserved it. I messed up.
Yeah.
But so eventually he did own up to it. Too little, too late. And then slight devil's advocate of for the suspension part. Who the fuck was it?
Can you give a team?
Anthony Edwards in last year's playoffs against the Denver Nuggets threw a chair at a Denver Nuggets team member and wasn't suspended, wasn't fined, or he was fined, but wasn't suspended at all. And I think throwing a chair is a little bit past throwing a heat pack. Granted, results could have been very terrible, and the league probably cares, not rightfully, but probably cares more about an injured player than they do about an injured staff member.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely took that too far. I was at that game, and it was really funny because nobody knew that it was him for a little while. So the PA got on and said any fan caught throwing things on the court is subject to immediate removal and arrest.
And that's a lifetime ban. You cannot come back to it.
Yeah, and then they show a replay, and I'm like, oh, that was Jamal.
I think Chris Finch, the head coach of the Timberwolves, made a comment where he was talking to a ref and was like, I don't think fans have heat pads. I feel like it's safe to say that a Nugget did that.
If they had caught it live, Jamal would have been thrown out of the game for sure.
Yeah.
But
and then I really wanted to do two rows, so I'm just going to say it right now. Fuck Patrick Beverley. God damn. After his loss in the playoffs to Indiana, he was giving a press conference. It wasn't really press conference. It was a bunch of reporters in the locker room. But one woman was trying to ask him a question, and he goes, do you subscribe to my podcast? And when she said no, he refused to answer any questions, wouldn't let her have her microphone close to him, like essentially made her leave because she doesn't listen to his podcast.
Which is a fucking terrible podcast, by the way.
Yeah, it's Patrick Beverly. What do you expect? And like, you've been traded by like 12 teams because no one likes you, and you think you're the best, and you think you're owed anything. I hate him so goddamn much.
So gross.
Anyway, that's my thing.
I like it. I'm glad you got in that second roast.
All right, take it away.
For the final roast of the night, I'm going at Shaquille O'Neal because he did something that I have to give him enough credit to say I think it was a mistake. Like, I don't think that he intended the way that it came across. But he was presenting the MVP trophy to Nikola Jokic, and as he was presenting it, he said, "I don't think you deserve this. I think that this guy should have gotten it." Name one other time in any award show in the history of the world where the person presenting the award said, "And by the way, you don't deserve this."
Slightly different, but it reminded me a lot of it right after the Raptors won the NBA playoffs. Like, while they're celebrating on the court, Doris Burke, who I love, no hate Doris, but this one wasn't good. Like, right away, she like presented the Finals MVP award to Kawhi Leonard, and then like brought up the shit in San Antonio and was like, "Oh, are you gonna stay? Like, this is the last year in your contract. Like, are you gonna stay in Toronto?" And it was like, Doris,
bad timing.
Let them celebrate. They just won.
I know. and it's the same thing with Shaq. It's like, you are 100% allowed to have that opinion. It is a completely valid thing to think that Shai should have won it. I disagree with it. I have had Luka as my number 2. Shai may have had the most 30-point games in the league, but Luka had the most 32-point games in the league.
I think my biggest thing was getting the number 1 seed in the Western Conference with that young a roster.
That is huge.
Like,
but like, the time to say that is not right then.
Not then.
And I do give him the benefit of the doubt of, he's been saying it behind Jokic's back. He tries to be a good character guy. He prefaced it like, if I'm going to say it behind your back, I'm going to say it to your face. All good things, just not while you're presenting the award. Like,
yeah, fully agree. That was a bad move. I love Shaq.
I do too.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
he's the best. But yeah, you just won it. Say it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now that took some cojones by Shaq. Attaboy.
Shaq doesn't need cojones to do anything. He can eat anyone who tries to fight him.
That is true. All right. Well, we chatted a lot about it, but we'll now move into talking about the NBA playoffs round 2.
I mean, there's 3 other series we can talk about.
I was going to say, I think we've pretty much covered Nuggets Timberwolves, so I'm not sure there's a whole lot to be talked about there. But let's start out with Knicks Pacers, something we've talked about a little bit. And I think we're all absolutely amazed by what the Knicks have been able to do so far this postseason, especially considering that Mitchell Robinson has been out this entire time. Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, and Josh Hart have been having to carry this team on their freaking backs.
3 guys has been great too.
Yeah, 3 guys who I think 4 years ago, if we said the 3 of them would be a core leading a team potentially to the conference finals, we all would have died of laughter and just said no. But here we are. So, Micah, what are your thoughts so far in the series? I think, in my opinion, it's the best series of the bunch so far, just with how tight it's been.
I think I probably agree. It's the best series. I think it's a little weird that I think it's the best series, and I don't think either of these teams stand a single chance against Boston.
Yeah.
It's honestly, Boston has to be so happy watching the two teams they were most afraid of lose to Indiana and New York. Like, they've been doing great. All props to them. They won great series. They're in a great series now. But it's been a ton of fun. I do think Indiana will walk away with this, especially with the OG Anunoby injury. Like, there's only so many injuries you can withstand as a team. I'm shocked they've withstood as many as they had. But who knows? I mean, they're up right now, up 11 in the second. So who knows? But these are two really feisty young teams that are just fun to watch and putting everything out there. TJ McConnell, God, he's like one of those people who I would love to have on my team, and I hate against my team. Like, he is such a little bitch, but he's incredible. He's really good at it. So props to him.
I think if they hadn't had all their injuries, I feel like the Knicks would probably stand a better chance against Boston. So I think I would want the Knicks to win, but I don't know. I think at this point, the Pacers probably would make it a more competitive series just because they're not just ravaged by injuries right now like the Knicks. But at the same time, I can't help rooting for the Knicks because they're the Knicks and they have done nothing in 50 years. So
I hate big market teams mostly as a matter of principle. I feel almost obligated not to hate the Knicks in the same way because they've built it the right way, which is really rare for these style of this market in this era. And so I almost want to laud them, but I'm still going for the Pacers in this one as my favorite.
Yeah.
Jonathan,
as far as most likely to win, I probably do put that on the Knicks. I mean, Brunson's been absolutely balling out, and OG Anunoby is a tough loss, but yeah.
Do you know what the last time a New York sports franchise won a championship was, Jonathan?
No, I don't care if it's been 50 years. I don't mind it being another 50.
Okay, but the whole argument against big market teams is that because of the money they have, they're able to win championships all the time, and that doesn't happen for New York. Like, New York doesn't make it work. So I feel like New York is kind of the exception to the rule. Everybody in New York is incompetent. So I'm saying this as a Mets fan, damn it.
I don't have pity on them for incompetency.
I feel so bad for James Dolan. He's so bad at his job. I feel bad.
I'm not saying pity them for incompetency. I'm more just saying I understand hating Los Angeles because as a baseball fan, I hate the Dodgers as well. I'm not sure I could justify the same hatred for New York, except for the Yankees, but that's for different reasons. Because they don't utilize the big market to their potential.
Yeah, I certainly hate them to a lesser degree than LA.
Yeah.
Fair.
But I will prefer Indiana over New York.
Yeah.
Freaking loser.
Go Fever.
They're the only team with Mets colors who are decent. I have to root for them.
Oh, man.
All right, well, let's hop over to the other Eastern Conference series. Celtics versus Cavaliers. Celtics currently lead 3-1 as
Is that a series right now?
as pretty much everybody think they are. In the Cavaliers' defense, they were missing Donovan Mitchell, and hopefully he'll be back for the next game because that sucks for the Cavaliers. They literally don't stand a chance in hell if Donovan Mitchell isn't there.
I mean, game 4, they put up a fight, granted to them. It wasn't a blowout like I thought it was going to be. But, I mean, even with Donovan Mitchell, I don't think they really stand a chance. They got an incredible game, incredible win. I think that was game 3, or was it 2?
It was 3.
It was 3, yeah. But I feel like they're doing enough that they shouldn't be too scared about the future of their team. They definitely need to make adjustments and tweak. But, I mean, we were saying if they lose lost to Orlando. That's when you have to make serious decisions about your future. But I think winning that game against the Celtics, game 4 being competitive without Mitchell, I think they have enough that they don't need to think about blowing it up. Just we need to make some improvements, make some adjustments. But
yeah. In any given year, they could make the finals as long as the Celtics lose, which is the big caveat for every Eastern Conference team right now.
yeah.
The Cavs definitely need a secondary scorer because right now after Mitchell, they don't really have a true second guy. It kind of just from game to game fluctuates. And in this day and age, if you want to win the NBA Finals, you kind of have to have a second guy who is the second predominant scorer on the team behind whoever's number one. And I guess it's kind of Darius Garland, but also not because he has some games where he just doesn't show up. So,
yeah, inconsistency is the biggest thing against him. Like there are games where he's an incredible playmaker, making tons of passes, scoring a lot, but it feels like he just can't do it 2 games in a row.
Right. And I mean, like you build enough assets around this team, you don't need as much consistency from every player. But as it stands, they need him to be successful.
All right. Well, one more series to talk about over in the Western Conference. I can't remember what teams they are.
OKC Dallas.
Yeah, OKC Dallas.
Yeah.
Brain fart. It's been a long
OKC
day.
evening the series last night.
OKC evening the series. I got to say, y'all thought I was crazy for picking the Mavericks over OKC here, but Mavericks have been looking damn good.
I don't remember thinking that was crazy. I remember thinking Pacers over Philly was crazy, but that was before Philly got knocked out. You might have been right about that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting series because I think both teams are sort of playing at a level below their regular season output. With the Thunder, just sort of lack of experience, not a lot of growing that they really were probably able to put forth this postseason, but just a slight regression with. And then the Mavericks, you're sort of starting to see some of the cracks again in this this rough copy paste stars strategy where they both fill. They're not like the same player by any means, Kyrie and Luka, but they fill very similar role of dominant ball handler, scorer, playmaker. And it worked really well in the regular season because you stagger their minutes, and in the postseason, you have them both on the floor for 43 minutes of the game. You're starting to see sort of the limitations of this roster construction. So I think that for those reasons, it's a really good and interesting series. And I think that for those reasons, I don't put either of them in the finals. No matter who gets out of the Nuggets-Timberwolves series.
Yeah, it's similar to how I feel about the Pacers-Knicks game. I'm like, these are great games. These are really fun to watch. It's a great series. I don't see any way Boston doesn't go to the finals, and I don't see whoever wins between Denver or Minnesota, probably Denver, will lose against either of those teams. Like, Minnesota and Denver are just playing at a much higher level than OKC or Mavericks. So it's a fun series, fun games to watch. I don't see the next series being that entertaining, to be honest. Especially if it's against Denver.
Can we talk about the fact that so far this series, the second best player on the Mavericks might be PJ Washington?
I love PJ. I've been wanting him to get out of Charlotte for a while.
Yeah.
And then can we also talk about the fact that Derek Jones Jr. has like resurrected his career and looks very
time
as well.
My goodness.
I
was so excited for him after his rookie season, and then it was just so downhill from there.
Hey.
He was as a Blazer.
He was extraordinarily mediocre in Portland. Leave him alone.
He had several good dunks.
Did he win his dunk contest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm pretty sure in that that was one of those dunk contests as well where it was like Derek Jones and then 50 feet of garbage and everybody else competing. So I'm not sure it was much of a contest. Well, now
If we want to make picks about it, I think I'll go OKC in 7.
Ooh, there we go. Okay.
I agree.
Dallas in 6.
Ooh! Next 2, okay.
All right.
All right, let's hop over. Celtics, Cavs. Let me guess. Celtics in 5.
Yeah.
All right, easy one. Nuggets, T-Wolves. Go.
Nuggets in 6.
I agree. Yeah, Nuggets 6.
Nuggets in 7. And then last one. What you guys got?
Pacers in 7.
Knicks in 7.
Knicks in 6.
Oh, all right.
Going bold out here, boys. I should put a parlay on it tonight so that it hits. All right, but now for really the first time on this pod, having a segment dedicated to the WNBA. Super exciting. It's awesome. And we're going to do standings predictions for the WNBA. A, because it's pretty easy to do. There's only 12 teams, so it really doesn't take that long or too much effort. So,
you say that, but I'm still embarrassingly uninformed. So.
I don't know what you're talking about. I spent 45 minutes on Google.
I know everything.
I now know everything there is to know about the WNBA. All right, but let's kick things off. Let's start top 2, since kind of the way it seems to be with the WNBA, the top 2 teams standing-wise at the end of the season are likely the top 2 who are going to be in the or the WNBA finals. So let's go top 2. Micah, who you got?
I think it's going to be a repeat of last year with New York Liberty and Aces. I do have the Aces taking, or the Liberty taking the number 1 seed. I think this is a bold pick.
Even he thinks his take is wrong.
I do, honestly. Like, the Aces are so freaking good.
Yeah.
But I think I'm basing this off of after back-to-back championships, I think they're going to take it a little easier in the regular season. And this is also the second year of Brianna Stewart now. Sabrina Ionesco has gotten better every single season since she joined. I think this is their time to really make that push and get the 1 seed. I think I would pick the Aces to win the finals right now, but I think Liberty could still grab the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I think that it's hard to argue for anyone other than the Aces if the question is who's the best team. So the question for standings is really, do they want it enough to claim what they certainly can? And coming off of back-to-back championships with just this absolutely elite roster, it's not unreasonable to think that they're going to sleepwalk to a degree through this season. Although that's not really the Aces that we saw last year. Yeah. So even though they went back-to-back now, I don't really expect them to take any breaks, and I expect them to claim what's theirs.
I just want Sabrina to get the 1 seed.
I know you do.
See, I'm not as high on the Aces this season purely because of Candace Parker's retirement. I think Candace Parker was a huge part of that team for the past couple of seasons and winning those championships. Candace is not someone who you can easily replace. She was phenomenal. So
shout out to Candace Parker, by the way.
Yeah. She's amazing. WNBA Hall of Fame, 100%. But
first ballot unanimous, yeah.
So I feel like the Aces are going to hurt a little bit from her being gone. And I get that they have depth. They have plenty of other players. But, did you guys freeze?
No. Keep talking.
Okay. But I don't know. I like the Liberty a lot. Like you said, Micah, they're very young. They're going to keep progressing. Sabrina's only going to get better, and I think she can definitely take yet another step forward this next season. So I actually like the Liberty a lot to take the 1 seed. When it comes to winning a championship, It's definitely going to be a hard-fought battle, but again, I think the Liberty can do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just go down the list. Sure. Let's just go. Micah, rattle off your next three.
Next three are Suns, Storms, and the Lynx. I'm mostly high on the Suns and the Storm. Or Sun, I guess. Sorry. The Storm, I think, have the potential of being the third best team in the league. They got really good this offseason, getting both Nekio, Gumoke, and Skylar Diggins-Smith. Jewel Lloyd is ridiculous. She led the league in scoring last year. I really like Nika Mule from UConn that they just drafted. I think this team is new enough that it'll take them some time to gel, which is why I put them at 4 and the Sun at 3, because if you look at last season's standings, there was a 5-game gap between both the 2nd and the 4th seed between the Sun. Like, they solidified themselves as the 3rd seed, and then there's 2 clearly better teams above them and a lot of teams below them. They didn't really do anything that exciting this season, but I think they're good enough to keep the 3rd seed, even if I think by the end of the season the Storm will be better.
Yeah. Not much to add to those two, but we had the same order for 3 and 4. I'll talk a little bit about my 5, though, in the Indiana Fever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's on that team?
Melissa Smith, Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark. All 3 of them under 23 or under 24. I guess Melissa is 23 herself, but all 3 of them young stars in this league, and I think that is what it takes to be successful, at least in the regular season. I don't think that they'll necessarily have the degree of postseason success as other teams around them in these standings, because they are so young and they need to sort of advance. They need to learn how to play off of each other in that high intensity environment. But my goodness, is this going to be a fun team to watch grow? And I think that youth will be a huge benefit for the regular season specifically. Mm-hmm. So I think that they shock the world, get the 5 seed, become favorites to beat the Storm, and then sneeze in the playoffs.
All right.
Yeah, I have for my 3 through 5, I have the Storm, the Sun, and the Dallas Wings. I think for me, a lot of things that I read, I think the Storm are or have done a fantastic job at rebuilding, even after losing Brandon Stewart. I think they're kind of ahead of the timeline here because their drafts have been amazing. They've attracted great free agents. So I can 100% see them winding up in that 3 spot. And I won't lie to you guys. Seeds 4 through 7, I generated through ChatGPT. So AI is my guiding light through 4 through 7. Which, to be fair, honestly, probably 4 through 9, it's kind of a crapshoot because all of those teams are really close. I mean, you can even maybe bump that up to 3. It's kind of Liberty, Aces, Gap, a lot of teams, and then probably like the Washington Mystics in their own plane of existence at the bottom.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That middle of the pack, like I have the Lynx, Dream, Fever, and Wings all kind of in that grouping to make the playoffs. I have the Wings lower just because Satu Sabali, who's their best player, is going to be out until like August, which is why I have them pretty low down there. But like a lot of these teams, like I have the Dream at 6, I think. Yeah, Dream at 6 and Fever at 7. I think the Fever just needs some time to get all of their young players, gel them together, but also it's Caitlin Clark. Like she's incredible. They could be a lot better a lot sooner. But yeah, that like 5 through 8, I could see any one of those teams getting any one of those seeds. And then there's a pretty steep drop from like 10 to 12.
Yeah. For sure. I feel like in a lot of the projections that I was looking at, like several people I saw had the Sparks as the worst team or second to last, and Johnson's one of them was second to last. I'm just not sure I see the Sparks being that bad. I think, especially with the addition of Cameron Brink. I know Cameron Brink isn't Caitlin Clark, but she is phenomenal.
She is, yeah, really good. And Rakea Jackson, who was their number 4 pick, also really, really good. The loss of Neko Glumake, though, is going to be huge for them. That was their best player,
sure.
and they were already a bad team. But Oregon legend Cameron Brink, she's going to do it for him.
Love it. But other than we can talk about here, I feel like, unless Jonathan, do you have something to add about standings?
Nope.
Okay. Other thing we can talk about here is the fact that the NBA did officially announce a Toronto-based expansion team. Very exciting. The WNBA is continuing to grow.
No, it's not. I wanted a Denver one.
I wanted it to be Portland.
They're at 12 teams. They still need to add, now after Toronto, they need to add 17 more to get to 30.
I know, but like Denver was on this slate. They had a chance.
Yeah, Portland has been in the talks forever. I mean, after we lost our team.
I'm a little surprised they're doing it like one team at a time because they like approved one team last year that's going into effect next year. They approved one team this year that's going into effect in 26. I wonder how long they're going to just keep trickling them in.
I mean, it's not the same as the NHL or like the NBA did an expansion where you would need to add a team in each conference. The way that
that's true.
The NBA does playoffs, you can just add a singular team and it really doesn't have an impact on standings or anything like that or the playoff structure. So I'm sure at some point they'll hit a certain number of teams where they might divide it in half, or adding 2 would keep the playoff structure fine. But at this few teams, one at a time is totally fine.
Yeah.
Whatever city's willing to pitch in the league fee to
Yeah.
Well, with that, let's hop on over to trivia. And Jonathan, you telling us that we need a pen and paper to keep track is a little frightening. So we'll see how this goes. But Jonathan, take it away.
All right. So today we are going to be playing a game I'm calling 120 Questions. It's sort of themed after it's 180 questions. It's sort of themed after the 20 questions idea of you guys ask me a yes or no question and I give you an answer, except we're doing it in a tic-tac-toe grid in which I will be answering your question for every single part of the grid.
Okay.
And then we continue from there. The way this is going to work is you're going to take turns. The person whose turn it currently is will ask me a yes or no question. I will answer for all 9 of these people. And then the same person who just asked the question will guess at one of the 9. And then it'll go on to the next person after that. The first person to either get 3 in a row or be the first to 5 wins.
All right.
How much LSD did you do before making this video?
0.
No.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Does it make more sense now that you have visual?
No, but let's go.
No, I think you described it well.
Cool. So let's flip a coin.
I have some clarifying questions.
Sure.
These are all players?
These are all sports people.
Okay. I assume...
You may ask other yes or no questions within the course of the game, probably. I might answer some of them now, but...
Okay.
I feel like this one's fair game. Is it only NFL and NBA, or are you expanding it to other leagues?
I will not answer that yet.
Oh.
All right.
Micah, I'm flipping a coin. Call heads or tails.
Tails never fails.
It is heads. Evan, do you want to go first or second?
It failed.
I'll actually go second. And also, Jonathan, can you move the tab to cover the full screen? It's really messing with me to also.
I cannot, because if I do that, then this other tab goes to sleep.
Okay, I just won't look at it.
Sorry.
All right, Micah, good luck.
Ask a yes or no question, Micah. I will answer for all of them. You can see a number in the top left corner of each of these. So when I say them, you'll know the order.
All right.
By the way, if you ask a question that would yield a subjective answer, I will not say that it's subjective. I will give you a yes or a no. If you ask a question that would give an ambiguous answer, again, I'm just going to pick one.
All right.
So my answers will only be yes or no with no qualifiers.
All right. Is this person in the NBA?
Starting with one. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. 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 Now make a guess, Micah.
Do I have to say like number?
Yeah.
And then, is number 2 Wemby?
Number 2 is not Wemby. Evan, ask me a yes or no question.
Is this person in the NFL?
Starting with one. Yes. No. 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 Yes. No. Can you make a guess for me, Evan?
Is number 9 Doris Burks?
No. All right. Micah, ask me a yes or no question.
God. Is this person in the WNBA?
Starting with one. No. No. Actually, I'll save some time. Only number 7 is yes. Everything else is no.
Is it Caitlin Clark?
It is. All right. Micah takes a 1-0 lead, claiming a corner square. Evan, ask me a yes or no question.
Was this person a professional athlete?
All right. Starting with one. Yes. 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 No. Yes. 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 No. No. Make a guess, Evan.
Is number 3 Ernie from Team?
Number 3 is not Ernie.
Yeah.
All right, Micah. Ask me a yes or no question.
Is this person a commentator?
All right. I'll save some time. 9 is yes. Everything else is no. Make a guess.
Is 9 Ernie Johnson?
Yes, it is. Oh, man. That's a tough break. I was very tempted to make it Nick Wright, to make it like extra difficult. And then I'm like, that's a tough idea. All right, Evan. Be careful not to give him number 8, because that'll end the game immediately. But if you can take it from him, go for it. Ask me a yes or no question.
Has this person won a championship?
I'm going to do a quick Google to double check some things. Okay, starting with 1. Yes, 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 no, yes, yes, no. I guess I don't need to answer for 7 anymore, so you can ignore that if you want. 8 is yes.
Is 8 Eli Manning?
8 is not Eli Manning.
Blasphemy.
Micah, ask me a yes or no question.
Is this person a head coach?
Starting with 1. No, 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 no.
Is that a no,
No.
for 7?
No, it's a no for everyone.
Okay.
This person is not a head coach.
I feel like I might have written something down wrong, because I don't see how this.
Micah, I'm going to need you to make a guess.
Is number 8 Robert Kraft?
No. All right, Evan. Ask me a yes or no question.
Are any of these people referees or umpires?
No for everybody.
Okay. 4 is confusing the hell out of me. I gotta say. I don't know if we're in the same boat, Micah, but the fact that this man said he's in the or part of the NBA, but he's not an athlete and not a commentator, I'm reaching for straws.
All right, Evan, can you give me a guess?
Is number 4 Mark Cuban?
No. Micah, ask me a yes or no question.
Are any of these owners?
Once again, no for everybody.
Is number 4 Adam Silver?
Yes. Number 4 is Adam Silver. nice one. Evan, can you please ask me a yes or no question?
Are any of these people in the MLB?
No for everybody.
Is number 8 Bill Belichick?
Yes, it is. He is not a head coach.
Oh, fuck off. I thought it was Bill Belichick, and then I asked that question. Oh,
Should have asked it better.
I hate you so much. That's...
Oops.
You're up 1 and have another chance at tic-tac-toe. Calm down.
I know, but I wanted 8. That would have won it.
Thank you for asking the question that way, and thanks for getting it, Evan. Oh boy, number 1 is still a vulnerability spot for Evan.
I've been thinking for the past 3 rounds the way that you said he's not currently a head coach. I was like, oh, this bastard.
Never said currently.
Yeah, that's what
he is not a head coach.
That's what like confused me. I thought I wrote something down wrong because I was like, he's in the NFL, he's won a championship, he's not an athlete or a coach.
Yeah.
And not an owner. All right,
Micah. Yes or no question.
I guess this one's subjective, so I'll let you use your judgment.
Cool.
Are any of these people in the conversation for being the GOAT of their respective field?
Okay. Starting with 1, no. No. Yes. Then to 5. Yes. Yes.
What's his name? If I say something that very clearly defines who this person is, but I don't say his name, will you give it to me?
It needs to be like there's only one person who fits your description, but yes.
Is number 3, who do you think you are? I am! The bowler.
No. Amazing. Is that the guy who just retired too and was like, love me or hate me, all you could do is watch?
Yeah.
Fucking legend. No, number 3 is not the bowler.
All right.
Evan, ask a yes or no question.
I could see this screwing me, but are any of these people Olympians?
I'm going to take some time to Google this one because it is objective.
I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Okay, Jonathan, tell me, who is it? Who's number 1?
No. Okay. 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 Yeah, I figured. Okay, I am ready to answer. Starting with number 1. No. Yes. Yes. 5. No. Yes.
And that was for Olympian.
Correct.
And Jonathan's going to pull some shit like, well, he's from Olympia, Washington.
No. I answered the question exactly how it's asked.
Is number 6 Michael Phelps?
No.
Really? Okay.
Micah, ask me a yes or no question. We're getting to the point where questions are starting to not apply to all of them. You might have to laser focus on one.
Yeah. Is this person a quarterback?
No for everybody.
Okay. Is number... Oh, Olympian ruins that. I had an idea. Oh, that's not...
I'm so curious what the idea was.
No. Is number 3 Tiger Woods?
No. All right, Evan, yes or no question, please.
Is this person an American?
Oh, I thought you might ask this, but I didn't prepare.
How do you? Are there just some people that you don't actually know on here? Because how do you not know that?
I'm like 95% sure on all of this, but I don't want to give you a wrong answer.
This dude 100% has Andrew Wiggin somewhere on this list.
Oh, my notes are not good.
Okay, the answer for everybody is yes. Can you make a guess for me?
It's number 3 Katie Ledecky.
No. Micah, please ask me a yes or no question.
Have any of these people been involved in one of our 3 favorite organizations? Any sport?
Understood.
What?
He asked, have any of these people been involved in one of our 3 favorite organizations in any sport?
That is what I said.
Been involved. Starting with 1, Yes. Yes. No. 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 Those
So
last
just
two were
one
5
and
and
2?
6. Yeah. Correct. Please make a guess.
Is number 1 Aaron Rodgers?
No.
Oh, there's no quarterback. Damn it.
Evan, please ask a yes or no question.
Micah dropped off the call.
We don't need him.
Dang, man. Is this person in the NHL?
No for everybody.
Wait, what did he ask? I don't hear him at all.
Is this person in the NHL?
Oh, okay. No NHL.
Micah, you dropped off the call.
Yeah, you dropped off the call, so you might try and get back in. But while he's working on that, please provide me with your player guess.
Is number 1 Emmett Smith?
No, number 1 is not Emmett Smith. Micah, please ask me a yes or no question.
Are any of these people alive?
Yes for every one of them.
Is number 1 Tyreek Hill?
Yes, it is. Oh my God. So Micah wins it by completing 3 in a row. If y'all are interested, we can keep playing just for bragging rights, but Micah has officially taken this one home.
About time.
I think let's go ahead and close out the pod here. Thanks for listening, everybody. I will put the correct answers up on screen, but just in case they want to finish out the game, I will not say them out loud right now. But thank you all for tuning in. Had a lot of fun. And Micah, send us out with a hot take.
I hate to say this, but Nuggets are not going to lose another game in the playoffs.
Good night, everybody.
Night, y'all.